um, stop. Whatever you're doing right now, stop. Because I need you to understand something before we even get into this reading. What I'm about to share with you is not general, it is not vague, it is not the kind of spiritual language that sounds meaningful but could apply to anyone on any given Tuesday. This is specific. This is for you. And what's coming, what I kept feeling over and over again as I sat with Virgo's energy today, is something that made me want to reach through the screen and grab your hand and say, pay attention to your phone tomorrow. Pay attention to your messages. Pay attention to what arrives in your inbox, in your notifications, in the quiet buzz of your device sitting on the table beside you, because something is coming through. A call, a message, a notification, some form of communication that carries weight, real weight, and when it arrives, you are going to feel it in your entire body before you even fully process what it says. Your hands might shake slightly, your breath might catch, your heart might do that thing it does when reality suddenly rearranges itself around a single piece of information. That moment is close, closer than you think. Let me stay here for a second before I go further, because I think there's something important to acknowledge first, and that's the fact that you've been waiting. Not necessarily consciously, you're too practical for that, too grounded in your daily routines to just sit and wait for something to happen. But underneath all of that Virgo functionality, underneath the lists and the responsibilities and the way you keep showing up for everything and everyone, there has been a quiet, persistent hum of anticipation. Like some part of you has known that something was building, something was coming, something was moving towards you, even when the surface of your life looked perfectly still. You felt it, didn't you? That low background knowing, that sense that the current was about to change direction, that feeling you got sometimes in the middle of an ordinary moment, washing dishes, lying in bed, sitting in traffic, where something inside you just said something is about to happen. Something is about to happen. What continues to come through so clearly for Virgo right now is this image of a line of communication that has either been broken, delayed, complicated, or simply waiting for the right moment to open. And that line, whatever it represents in your specific life, whoever is on the other end of it is about to activate, is about to become live, is about to deliver something that has been in transit for longer than it should have been. And I want to talk about why it's been taking this long, because I think understanding the timing actually matters here. And let me sit with this for a moment. The energy strongly suggests that whatever is coming through this call or message has been held back. Not necessarily intentionally, though, for some of you. Intentionality is absolutely part of the story. But held back by circumstances, by timing that wasn't quite right, by one or more people needing to reach a particular internal place before the communication could happen honestly, by a situation that needed to develop a little further before the information in it could be real. Because here's what I keep sensing, this isn't just any message. This isn't administrative. This isn't small talk. What's coming through this line of communication has been forming for a while. It has weight behind it, it has thought behind it. Whoever is sending it, whatever institution or situation it comes from, this communication represents something that someone has been deliberating, building up to, preparing for. They are ready now, or something has made them ready. And that readiness is what's creating the movement you're about to feel. I keep sensing for a very significant portion of Virgos right now, this communication is from a person, not a system, not an automated notification, not a form letter. A person who has your number saved in their phone or your email in their contacts, or who knows exactly how to reach you and who has been sitting with what they want to say for longer than is comfortable, longer than they planned, longer than you probably realized was happening on their end. And something shifted for them recently, something internal, something that finally tipped the scale from I'll do it later to I need to do this now. And that shift, that private, invisible shift that happened inside someone else's chest is what's creating the energy I'm feeling for you right now. That's where this is coming from. It would not surprise me at all if, when this message arrives, your first reaction is a complicated one. Not pure joy necessarily, though. Joy might be in there. Not pure relief, though relief will almost certainly be in there. But something more layered, something that lands in multiple places at once, because the message is going to carry more than information. It's going to carry emotion. And the emotion in it is going to reach you even through the screen, even through whatever medium it travels through, even in the words that were chosen carefully because the sender knew that every word would matter. Pay attention to what's between the lines when this comes. Pay attention to what's being said underneath what's being said. You're good at that. You've always been good at that. The energy strongly suggests that for many Virgos, this communication is connected to something you have been waiting on for weeks, possibly months, a decision that someone else holds, an answer to something you put out there and then had to let go of because the waiting was starting to cost you too much. A response to something that felt vulnerable when you sent it, something that required courage on your part, something that left you in the uncomfortable open space of having expressed yourself without yet knowing how it would be received. The reception is coming. And what I'm feeling around it, I want to be careful here because I don't want to tell you it's going to say exactly what you want it to say, because I believe in honoring your intelligence too much to offer you a guarantee, but what I'm feeling around it is genuinely favorable. There is a warmth in this energy. There is a yes in this energy. Not necessarily a simple yes, not necessarily a clean and uncomplicated yes, but the fundamental direction of what's coming through is toward you rather than away from you. Toward you. Let that sit for a second. For the Virgos who are waiting on professional news, a job application, a business proposition, a creative project you submitted, a negotiation that's been drawn out longer than expected, a raise or promotion that's been on the table without resolution, the energy here feels like movement. Finally, like something that has been stuck in a bureaucratic or logistical or human kind of limbo is finally being released. Someone made a decision. Someone signed something. Someone had the final conversation that needed to happen. And the result of that is making its way to your phone, your email, your inbox. I keep sensing a very specific feeling of your efforts being recognized, not just acknowledged in a polite way, but genuinely valued, genuinely seen. The kind of recognition that comes with something attached to it, an opportunity, an offer, a next step that is meaningfully better than where you currently are. The energy around your professional life right now has this quality of a reward that is overdue, arriving at exactly the right time, because the you that receives it now is more ready for it than the earlier version of you would have been. I want to sit with that for a moment because I think it matters more than it might seem. There's a version of this opportunity, this news, this offer, this recognition that would have been too much for you 6 months ago. Not because you weren't talented or capable, you always were, but because you needed to go through what you went through in the intervening time. You needed to develop certain clarity, certain groundedness, certain confidence in your own value that didn't depend on external confirmation. And you did that work quietly, without a lot of fanfare, without anyone necessarily knowing the internal development that was happening. You grew into the version of yourself that can actually receive what's coming and run with it. The timing is not a delay, the timing is precision. For the Virgos, where this incoming communication is personal, romantic, familial, a friendship that matters deeply, what I'm picking up on is a conversation that has the potential to fundamentally clarify something that has been sitting in uncertainty for too long. Too long for both of you, actually. Because here's what's interesting about the energy around this person, whoever they are. They have been sitting in their own uncertainty, their own questions, their own unresolved feelings about a situation that involves you directly. And what finally pushed them toward making the call or sending the message? What I keep sensing is an external moment, something that happened, a conversation they had, something they saw, a moment of quiet where they couldn't distract themselves from the truth anymore, that made the conversation with you feel not just wanted but necessary. Like they could no longer justify the silence. Like continuing to not say the thing was starting to feel worse than the vulnerability of saying it. So they are saying it. And when you receive it, when your phone lights up with their name, or when you see the notification, or when someone hands you information that came from this person, I want you to take a breath before you respond. I want you to let it fully register. I want you to give yourself the moment to actually feel what you feel before you do anything with it. Because your first feeling, that instinctive, pre analytical response that comes in the first few seconds, that is your truest guide here, trust it. Don't override it with logic before you've honored it. What continues to come through is also this sense of multiple communications, not just one, like a sequence that begins with the first message or call and then opens into a broader conversation, a back and forth that has real depth to it, real substance, real movement. Like a dam that's been holding something back, finally releasing, and what flows through is more than you expected, more honest, more direct, more loaded with everything that has been accumulating behind the surface of a relationship or situation that appeared quieter than it actually was. There is a powerful feeling that by the time this sequence of communication settles, by the time the conversation has happened, by the time the information has been exchanged, your life looks measurably different from the way it looks right now. Not different in a surface way, different in the way that matters, different in how you understand something crucial, different in what's available to you, different in what you know is possible. Everything points toward a genuine before and after moment for Virgo. And I don't use that phrase lightly because I know how often it gets thrown around in these spaces, but this feels like one of those real ones. One of those moments you'll reference later when you're telling the story of this period of your life. You'll say something changed around that time. Something came through that shifted the whole direction of things. And this is that thing. Let me go deeper for a moment because I want to talk about you, not just the event, but you, Virgo. I keep sensing that you have been managing expectations lately, quietly, internally, running a kind of protective protocol where you tell yourself not to hope for too much, not to want to specifically, not to invest emotionally in an outcome you can't control. And I understand that after experiences that didn't go the way you hoped, after waiting for things that didn't arrive, or arriving to things that disappointed, the heart learns to guard itself. The mind learns to preemptively manage the fall. But I want to ask you something. Just sit with it. You don't have to answer it out loud. What would you allow yourself to feel if you let yourself fully hope right now? Not the edited version of hoping, not the hopeful but prepared for disappointment version, the real version, the one that lives before the self protection kicks in, the one that knows what it wants and dares to want it completely. Because I think that version of you, the one that hopes without armor, is actually closer to the truth of what's coming than the protected version. I think the incoming energy is closer to your real hope than your managed expectation. And I want you to be emotionally ready to receive something genuinely good rather than braced for something that disappoints. Lower the armor a little this week, just a little, just enough to let something real get through. The energy around tomorrow specifically and into the next few days feels charged in a way that's almost tangible, like the air before a storm, except the storm in this case is something you've been wanting, something the tension has been building toward. And when it breaks, when the communication arrives and the information lands and the thing that's been waiting to happen finally happens, the relief of it, the sheer relief. I keep sensing that relief so clearly, that exhale, that involuntary relaxation of something that has been held tight for too long. That moment where you realize the wait is over and whatever comes next, at least you are no longer in the dark. It would not surprise me at all if this communication leads to a meeting, a real conversation in person, or voice to voice that follows the initial contact. Like the message or call is the beginning, the opening of a door, and what comes after it has even more substance than the initial reach. Pay attention to what's offered or suggested in this first contact. There may be an invitation in it, explicit or implicit, and your answer to that invitation matters. Say yes, Virgo. Whatever the yes looks like in your situation, say it. The energy around your finances also has a quietly positive quality this week that I want to acknowledge because I don't want to leave it unspoken. What I'm sensing is not dramatic. This isn't necessarily a lottery winning kind of energy, but there's a sense of something coming through that improves your material situation in a way that was needed, that provides breathing room where there has been tightness, that resolves a financial question or uncertainty that has been adding low grade stress to your days, even when you weren't consciously thinking about it. For some of you, this connects directly to the professional news I spoke about earlier. The call or message that comes through has financial implications, good ones, real ones, the kind that let you make a plan, adjust a plan, or exhale about a plan that has been feeling precarious. For others, it's separate but concurrent, like good news arriving from multiple directions in the same window of time, like the universe deciding that if it's going to move for you, it's going to move for you fully. Let it move, Virgo. Stop bracing and let it move. I want to close with something that feels essential, something that I think is the real heart of everything I've been trying to say today. You have been in a season of building, of preparation, of doing internal and external work that has not always been visible, not always been acknowledged, not always been met with the kind of response that made it feel worth it. You have been contributing to something, a vision, a goal, a relationship, a version of your life in good faith, often without guarantee, often without the confirmation that what you were doing was landing, was mattering, was moving anything in the direction you needed. Tomorrow, or in the very near future, in the window of energy that is alive around you right now, something confirms that it was landing. Something confirms that it mattered. Something arrives through your phone or your inbox or a conversation you didn't fully anticipate that says, yes, what you did was seen. What you built has weight. What you put out into the world has come back to you, and it has come back with interest. Receive it, Virgo, with both hands, with an open heart, with the full confidence of someone who did the work and deserves the return. Because you did, and you do. The call is coming. The message is coming. And when it arrives, and it will arrive, I want you to come back here and tell me what happened. I want to know. This community wants to know. Drop a comment, tell me your story, tell me what changed. Because your testimony is someone else's hope, and this space is built on that kind of real human exchange. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Come back every week. I am here for every chapter of your story, the hard ones, and especially the ones like this one, where something finally, beautifully, unmistakably breaks your way. Go answer when it rings, Virgo. It's been waiting to reach you for a long time.